morning, everyone. It's good to see such a big crowd of you. Thank you for all coming. It's really great. So I'm going to be chatting to Anne-Marie, who's on my screen. She's in the middle, but I don't know. It'll just be further there, so you can see where Anne-Marie. And I'm just going to chat to her about her journey and everything else like that, and then we'll break out into different rooms. So my first question, Anne-Marie, is first of all, welcome and thank you for coming. And I know that you live in Switzerland, but I also know that you're South African. So can you give us a little idea of how that all happened?
Yes, hello Lynn. Hello everybody else. It is wonderful to see such a bunch of happy faces in front of me, beautiful faces. And I don't know all of you. I've met some of you now. I know Lynn. I've met her through my Bible study group here in Switzerland, in Montreux, where I live. And it's just wonderful to know her. And I feel really honored and privileged to talk to you today. And so just before I give you all the information, it's basically my heart is that what I share today from my own life experiences, that maybe there will be something that will touch you and that will make you think and encourage you. So that is really my prayer for today. Yes, you can probably hear from my accent that I'm South African. Maybe you can't, I don't know, but most people say they can. I am a born and bred South African. We moved to Switzerland in 2009 as a family with my two youngest daughters. My eldest son was already working, so he stayed behind. And so we had to set up home in a new country. It was not always easy at all. And we also moved in the middle of winter, which made it even more difficult because as a South African, what do we know about snow? So, and we lived up in the mountains, so it was thick with snow. And it was a brand new world to adapt to. I made lots of mistakes, embarrassing mistakes. I remember the apartment that we rented, we had a cleaning lady who came once a week, and for at least a year, I was asking her to give my floors oxygen instead of vacuuming my floors. So lots of silly mistakes I made, but yes, at least now I'm quite adapted to it, and my French is a little bit better. So yeah, here I am now. Living in Clarens, I'm not up in the mountains anymore. I live down by the lake.
Super, thank you very Anne-Marie. Now we know that you're a singer-songwriter. So can you tell us of music in your life?
Yes, music is basically part of my DNA. I grew up in a home that was just filled with music. My father's side of the family has got 7 brothers and sisters, and all of them can sing an instrument, play an instrument, or sing or do both. And I've got a twin sister, and the two of us are both into music. It's our life and it's our career. And we listen. My father and my mother also always just played classical music. So I grew up with Bach and Mozart and Beethoven. Basically, only that. They were quite, determined to give us a good background. But when I reached university and I studied music, which was a very easy choice for me, I didn't wonder what am I going to study like many people do. I was fortunate enough that I just knew this is music is the thing for me. But at university, I started. I was just introduced to more contemporary music, jazz, world music, pop music, and it was fascinating and lovely. So I started moving into that direction, doing more cabarets, composition, and shows, directing, but always playing the piano. That was my first instrument. I never sang at that point. I only started singing at age 39, and I'll tell you more about that a little bit later.
Anne-Marie, in a moment we're going to listen to one of your songs with a little video. Hopefully it'll work. And it's a fabulous little song, but it's shortly after your son's death. So do you want to just fill us in with a bit of background info on that?
Yes. We were still in South Africa. We had 3 children at that point. And our youngest one, a boy, was Frederick. And so to tell you about this song, I have to just backtrack a little bit. So basically, sometimes there's an event in your life that just puts everything in a before and an after. And that event took place very unexpectedly on a Saturday morning in the year 2000, on the 29th of January. It was a warm Saturday in South Africa. The children were there, the neighbors' children were there. They were all swimming, and like they usually did. And over lunchtime, we all came in. And it so happened that Frederick slipped out, and he wanted to fish a ball out of the swimming pool because he actually didn't like swimming at all. But anyway, and he fell in the pool. And at some point in the home, I said, because a mother's ears are always, scanning everything, and I said, "Where's Frederick?" And my youngest daughter, Maria, she was 7 at that stage, and she ran out to the pool, and her screams, I will never ever forget that. And we were all there in seconds, and I immediately started with mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. My neighbor is a medical doctor. She was there immediately almost. She also tried. And the whole thing is, in my mind, it is like in the movies now. In just a few seconds, he will splatter all the water out, and he will cough a few times, and he will open his big blue eyes, and we will talk about this event for years to come, to say, do you remember that day when Frederick almost drowned? But on that day, he did die, and he did go to heaven to be with Jesus on that day. So there are so many things that I can share with you about that, but I thought to just share something about why I wrote the song that you talked about, Lynn, the song that's called I Choose Love. I used to be quite a nervous passenger in a car. So I always, told my husband, careful, there's a car there, or look at that, or look at that. I know it's very annoying, but I was like that. And we were driving back from Cape Town to Stellenbosch, where we lived. And it was maybe 2 or 3 months after Frederick's death. And at that stage, I really felt the closeness of the Lord. I felt that He sustained me. There were so many prayers for us, but I have lost the sparkle and the brightness and the purpose of life. It was as if there was just a gray blanket over the world. And I remember as I sat in that car and we were driving, I realized that I'm so calm. I am not worrying about how we are driving, about anything. And I realized with a little bit of a shock that I'm okay if I have to die now. I will be okay to just go to heaven, to be free of this pain, to be with Frederick, to be with Jesus. And it was quite a thought that shocked myself a little bit, not as if I was contemplating suicide or anything like that. It was just, I was ready to go. And that evening, as I went to bed, I said, Lord, I know that I'm here, I'm alive. And if I'm not going to die now, I want you to show me how to live. Show me how to live a life that has got purpose, that's got color in it. And it was a very, very simple, very short prayer. And I went to sleep. And that night, something quite miraculous happened. It was as if I was drifting in and out of sleep. And every time I woke up, there were just these 2 words in my mind, as if I could hear it in my ears. And I thought to myself, I must not forget this. I must not forget this. I hope I will remember this. And every time I would wake up in the night, it was in my ears. And the morning when I woke up, it was the first thing that I thought of again. And I'm sure you are all wondering by now what those two words were. And those words were in Afrikaans, gee liefde. And in English, it means give love. And I was thinking about that. I was actually hoping for a 10-point plan in my letterbox to know, okay, I've got to do this. Maybe start working with people who's lost children or whatever. But I realized that the Lord has basically just reminded me of the big commandment that we read of in the Bible that says, you must love one another like I love you. And I'm telling you, I have not mastered that at all. I'm still learning. But the thing that I have learned that was that the moment I look outside of myself, the moment I focus on somebody else and their needs, something happens in me. And that healing for me was happening by giving love, by looking outside of myself. And it is an ongoing process. Don't think it happened all in a week. And what I think the Lord showed me specifically over the years was that He wants us to start with that love in our closest family setup, with our own family, with the people closest to us.
Thanks, Anne-Marie. It takes your breath away a little bit listening to that sort of story, but thank you so much for sharing that. We're now going to hear the song that Anne-Marie wrote during that time, and after that we'll go into breakout groups, okay? So let's just sit back now and relax and listen to the song.
It's a brand new day you've given me, and you grant me the freedom to choose what to do on this day, what to say, what to be. Let your love be reflected in me. In my heart there's a cry to understand why I was born in this world at this time. Sovereign God, let me see what your plan is for me. Let my choices fit into your plan. I choose love, I choose joy, I choose peace for this day, and forgiveness and faithfulness. And today I'll be patient and gentle and kind. I choose love, I choose love. And if I succeed, I will give thanks. If I fail, I will seek your grace. And today I choose love over everything else. I choose love, I choose love. I choose love, I choose joy, I choose peace for this day, and forgiveness and faithfulness. And today I'll be patient and gentle and kind. I choose love, I choose love. I choose love, I choose joy, I choose peace for this day, and forgiveness and faithfulness. And today I'll be patient and gentle and kind. I choose love, I choose love.
welcome back. I hope that was helpful, and I hope you enjoyed your little breakout chat. We certainly did. Now, where's Anne-Marie? I can't find you.
I'm here.
Oh, there we are. Hi.
Me.
Right, so we're going to carry on chatting to Anne-Marie and asking a few more questions. Really, that was quite a traumatic experience, Anne-Marie. So how has life been since?
Well, it is, life is life. Life is never very easy. It's a rocky road, you've got your ups and downs. If I can first just say, in the first few months and almost years after Frederick died, it was a very specific time of healing. The things that I wanted to do were that I felt sustained me was, number one, to tell people. So if people came around with flowers or with food or something, and they asked me how I am, I could always have a little bit of, telling them. Yesterday, somebody sent me this verse that meant very much to me. Specifically, I felt talk to me in my heart, or whatever it was. Just little things that would not mean anything to anybody else, but that meant a lot to me. So, and when I told those things, when I spoke about those things, I felt a bit of, I was sustained. Another thing I wanted to do is I started writing more and more songs, often of scriptures that meant something to me in that time of healing. That I just came across, and it was just speaking right into my heart. So I wanted to write more songs, which I did lots of, actually. And then what I told you, this whole thing of having a purpose, not to just see life as one long endurance race, because I knew it was possible, that it could happen. I knew it. And then something wonderful happened one day as I was composing at the piano, and I was using the Message, which is a modern translation of the Bible. And I saw, when I was working on it all the time, that there were lots of black scribbles of Frederick when he was maybe 2 or so. He took a pen and he was just going mad, drawing in my Bible. But one day, and usually I just turned the pages, I didn't pay any attention to it. And one day there was this specific page where it was like almost black, where he was just drawing on it. And when I read those words, it is the words of Psalm 105. It was another moment that I thought, Lord, you know me so well, the detail that he works in. And let me just share with you that what it says in Psalm 105. It says, thank God, pray to him by name. Tell everyone you meet what he has done. Sing him songs, belt out hymns, translate his wonders into music. Honor his holy name with hallelujahs. And you who seek God, live a happy life. Isn't that amazing? And the other thing was, keep your eyes open and be alert of signs of the presence of the Lord. So all those things that were in my mind was sort of summed up in that Psalm 105. Anyway, so yes, life goes on. You still have to take your children to school. You still have PMS. Fortunately, I don't have that now anymore. But you have all the ups and downs of being a wife and a mother. And then we moved to Switzerland in 2009. I continued teaching at schools, music. I continued doing choirs and stuff. And but there was something that I almost did not want to acknowledge to myself, and that was that my marriage was in big trouble. And that was extremely difficult, extremely traumatic, and eventually I had to face an unwanted divorce after 27 years of marriage. It was really, really super difficult.
Yes, there are no words really to add to that. It is a painful experience. But you have learned to forgive, haven't you, Anne-Marie?
Yes, forgiveness, when I talk about that, it's not only about marriage, but in lots of other things in my life as well that happened in my childhood. I had to forgive people, and also with the divorce, there were things that I had to forgive. And I actually thought, well, I'm this Christian, and this is not going to be too difficult for me. But let me tell you, it was extremely difficult for me. I know that the way I think and the way my head works is I need to have a moment. I need to have a specific time and place where I can remind myself I did forgive. So I was reading up about it. It's as if I needed ammunition and help for myself to do this, because I found that I was incapable of doing it. Actually, there was a lot of resentment, a lot of just hurt in my heart. So one day I went to, for a weekend, I went to a women's retreat, and I decided I'm going to do it there. So I prayed with a wonderful Christian lady. And I really felt that was a very important moment. But still, a whole year after that, I would, every now and then, I would think, goodness, but this is still, the pain is still there. It's as if I just can't get over this. And I reminded myself that I know it is a process. I know things take time. I know that if I forgive people, it doesn't mean that what has been done is now suddenly okay. All of those things that you read in the textbooks. I reminded myself of that. But then I started, I couldn't sleep. I was anxious. I felt as if this thing is getting the upper hand. And I remember after one particularly bad night, I just woke up in the morning. I was sort of fed up, and I thought, Lord, help me. I did forgive. I did pray. But I still suffer. I'm still struggling so much. And I just, as I was busy here in my kitchen, in this very kitchen where I'm sitting now, I was looking up for just a YouTube clip of somebody, who, I typed in all the things that I was going through and that I needed help with. And I found this pastor somewhere in Australia. I can't even remember his name. And what he shared was very much like I was going through, that he forgave with a prayer, but that he still felt that there were things that he was still struggling a lot. And then he said something, and to me it said, yes, this is it. And that is that forgiveness is not complete unless you can bless, unless you can pray for the person or persons. And as I was sitting here, it was as if something stood up in me and said, I won't. I can't. I'm not going to. I just can't. It is too difficult to even say those words. But the Holy Spirit was prompting me, and I thought, all right, I will do that. And I took my dog. I went up into the vineyards where it's quiet. There's no other people. And I sat on an ancient old little stone wall, and I was just sitting there and praying and crying. Fortunately, nobody could see me because it was ugly. It was not good. And I just said, Lord, help me to do this. And it was a prayer that I had to find from somewhere, because it didn't come naturally. To say loud in words that I bless the people, that I pray for them, that it will go well with them. And that is something else than just to say I forgive them, to go that extra step. And I remember I was sitting there, it was autumn, and I could feel the sun of the autumn sun was shining on my teary face. And a verse from Malachi really came clearly to mind that says, you who have reverence for the Lord, the Son of Righteousness will rise with healing in its wings, and you will be free like calves who are let out joyously. into pastures. I thought, that is so true. Thank you, Lord. And it was, fortunately, nobody could see me, but just to make sure that this is a moment I will never, ever forget. There in the vineyards, I was doing a little dance like the calves who were going out joyously. I was so overwhelmed that the Lord's graciousness and that he would not leave me alone until I have come to this point of complete forgiveness. And it was as if a weight was lifted off me. And I want to encourage everybody who's maybe struggling with forgiveness, something that could have happened maybe long ago or recently, that pursue it with vengeance, because it is a chain that will imprison you forever if you don't forgive. And freedom makes free and light.
Thank you so much, Anne-Marie. That's really, really challenging. And we're going to be going into your next song soon. And it's one that I've really been blessed by. And there's words in it that there's no pit so deep. And there's words that your love couldn't have run out. And I wonder how you felt like that at times.
Yes, I definitely felt like that. Often, most of the time in the years, during and after the divorce. And this song specifically, I got the words from Lamentations that says, even, in the morning when I wake up, his mercies are new every morning. And the words of Corrie ten Boom, I don't know if you know her, but it's really worthwhile looking up her talks. And she was in a Nazi concentration camp, and she used to say this thing, no pit so deep, God's love is deeper still.
Yes, I found it extremely helpful too. And perhaps we'll go now to the song, and I'll hand over to Michelle before we go into our breakout groups.
I'll never forget the trouble I've seen, the places I've been. I'll never forget the silence and fears, you counted my tears.